Welcome to Base Space, a crypto podcast. Base Space.
All right, guys.
Cube stacker.
Let's jump into it because I'm excited to just dig into more about Digible, learn more about you guys. So to get started, my name is Mewtwo. I'm the founder and host of the Base Space, joined by my two co-hosts, Chase and Super. So what's up, y'all?
How's it going, guys? Welcome to Base Space.
Yeah, we're pumped to have you guys on. Since you guys haven't been on the space before, we normally like to do like introductions. Maybe we'll go around and just talk about like how you guys got into crypto is usually like a cool way to start. Maybe we'll start with Unfed.
Sure, yeah. So I guess how I got into crypto, it's been a couple years now. Used to be a YouTuber, actually. Used to make gaming videos. So I've been in the digital space for some time. Got into digital marketing and then very quickly saw the world of crypto start blooming, and the industry is blooming out of that. So last couple of years, been doing this, been running a digital marketing accelerator that works with Web 3.0 projects. And one of those happens to be Digible. And so I came in very, very early. Been working closely with the co-founders and with the team, and have became a core member of the team as well. And it's been a great journey so far. So I guess that's a very quick spiel of how I got into the space.
So it is Diggable, not Digible, correct?
So actually, well, Digible, however, we'll roll with whatever goes more viral, I guess. But we got a lot of people saying both, so.
Cool. I just don't want to throw any disrespect, but...
Oh, yeah, no worries. I guess Serge can go next, or Dan.
Yeah, I'll go next. My name's Serge. I'm one of the co-founders of Digible. Got into crypto around 2016. Since around 2000, I've been on the trading space from traditional finance. I've been slowly leaving that onto crypto, became full crypto in 2016. Been working on and following different technologies, how they evolve, and the whole thought on our process was, where's the use case? And sometime early last year, as the hobby industry was exploding, a lot of folks that I knew who were in the collectible business, including, for example, Steve Aoki and other folks on our team, came together and said, look, this tech that exists on the blockchain can solve a lot of problems for the collectible market, specifically dealing with physical items. And with DeFi, an ability to easily transact, collectibles can become traded similar to stocks. So using kind of our financial experience and collectible world experience and blockchain experience, we all came together and launched Digible. So that's kind of our story. Dan?
What's going on, guys? So I'm similar to Serge. I got into crypto in around 2016. I have a software engineering background for probably the last 10 years. So the technology is kind of what really interested me. Blockchain was kind of something that I just connected with. So basically, since 2016, I've been a Telegram admin for a bunch of different places. Poked my head in, poked my head out. Got wind of this project, and it really intrigued me. Joined their Telegram admin team and kind of just worked my way up the ranks and really helping them get their tech going when it comes to our platform and what we're bringing to the public right now. So that's kind of what my role is right now.
Yo, thank you guys for doing those intros. Really, really cool background. I'm kind of curious, like, who came up with the like initial concept and idea and like said, hey, like we should move like full forward with Digible.
It's hard to say. It was an evolving concept. It began with the idea of breaks and breaking things on the blockchain, which is what we're going to be doing now, for example. Then it came down to, okay, if we're breaking things down the blockchain, how do we know if it's authentic or not? if you're going to use a lot of people. So it evolved over time. It's hard to say who came up with it. It was more of an evolutionary process during ideation, and we just got there. And we decided, look, we're going to have a true place for collectors of all kinds. We're going to draw collectors in through exciting products, which was, at that time, one of our initial co-founders on the technology side, Dan, said, let's go with Pokemon, because, as a child, he's collected them. So did a lot of other people on our team. So we said, you know what, we go Pokemon. And then once we made that choice, it became clear that we have to build out, we built out. Kind of like that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I've done a bunch of card breaks and kind of been involved before in like the sports card collecting scene. So it's kind of cool to see like the physical world and the digital world merging together in a sense. So I think it's a really cool concept. I guess for like those people in the audience that don't even know like what Digible is, and like could someone give like a brief description at like a very high level? What the project is all about, and then we have a bunch of questions just about like the products and so forth. So someone wants to take that.
I'll take that. So we're collectors of Metaverse, which is community driven, which means that not only do we promote and take folks from our community, that every time that something's transacted on Digible, which is buying and selling of NFTs, which are physically backed by trading cards, like sports cards and Pokemon cards, the community receives 50% of the transactions of the platform itself. This way, as the community grows, we intend to move towards a DAO, or governance of this organization, so that it becomes a premier place for physically backed NFTs, regular NFTs too. So, as a user of the platform, you can come in, mint your Pokemon cards, apply to be a DigiSafe with us, so you can store them, so folks know that you're an authorized seller, that these cards are insured. You can buy them. You can set royalties as the initial minter. We're running across chain, so it's an NFT platform like most others, except it has component of the physically backed trading card NFTs, or statues, for example. So we have an Aoki statue, I think a couple of them minted up there. So that is the overall place. It'll also contain gaming components and traditional NFTs. So we're going to be dropping some of the DigiCubes. They'll be used for certain things. We have various kinds of key NFTs that give access to drops, where we give out, kind of cards, Pokemon cards, sports cards, and drop them to holders of those NFTs. Now we've just released our DigiWax protocol, which will be open source for anyone to use. That's the one that connects to Chainlink to create digital packs that you can unbreak. This way, kind of removing the trust aspect of breakers to make sure it's fair. So that's a pretty exciting information for us. Link is a great place for providing off-chain data, and we've been early investors into Link as well. Personally, a bunch of us on our team, we exactly understand the purpose of Oracle, how important it is, and for us, it's very, very important. So that is our general landscape.
That sounds really interesting. So, you mentioned Chainlink. Obviously, you're using the VRF function, I would assume.
Yes.
Okay. And then I had a question, just kind of to start it off. How are you guys going to ensure the safety of the physical cards? Because you said you'd ship them in and then you'd store them.
Yes, there's two ways, two types of physical storage. One is DigiSafe custody, where we have authorized DigiSafes and folks can apply to be a DigiSafe themselves. They have to have their own insurance over what they're storing, and they receive part of the platform revenues for doing so. So in that case, the DigiSafes are usually other hobby businesses or even mom and pop shops, but the key there is having insurance so that in case of something does happen to the item, the insurance can cover the cost. The second option is self-custody. So if somebody like me wants to just mint the card to have in my house, just like eBay, I can do the same thing. except on our platform, it'll indicate whether or not the item's stored in a DigiSafe or it's stored, seller custody.
Okay, I see. And where would you because I've never really done trading cards or anything like that. Where would you go and buy insurance for that?
There's insurance providers that cover collectibles like art, any kind of physical things, jewelry. They also cover collectible items such as trading cards, etc. So it's just a separate policy type for specialized assets. And there's two ways of doing it. We don't require one, whichever one the users pick. One is kind of called an umbrella coverage, which is we don't specify, you don't itemize the actual cards themselves. You say, well, this whole lot is worth $2 million, and if there's any loss in there, that whole umbrella covers the full policy. The other option, you can enumerate the things you insure. So that's usually for very high-end collectors. Well, they insure each individual card because its own card has its own, value. For example, like a Michael Jordan rookie card, things like that.
Okay, I see. And then just like the last question I guess I have on the whole custody side of it is, so say someone wants their physical card back, is it just as easy as you guys, shipping it back, or are there requirements that the customer has to fill out?
Yes, they have to request shipping. At any given point, you can redeem the NFT for the physical item. So as NFT trades, the last person says, "Hey, I want this card on my, my mantle." They'll hit a button. They'll have to fill out the shipping information and pay for shipping. And then whichever DigiSafe is storing them sends it out.
And just to add to that, oh yeah, sorry, I was just going to add to that quickly. Once that's done, we'll take the NFT, we'll burn it, and then ship the cards. So, right, so the NFT can't be sold after, it can't be used after. So it's just a safe way to ensure that once the card is in someone's hands, we're not using cards that aren't backed by anything. That's I wanted to add that.
But to add on top of that, as the user obtains their card, it is possible for them to also go and now turn that into an NFT on their own if they like.
Yep.
Which has an added benefit because then they would be able to add royalties to that NFT and et cetera, et cetera.
Gotcha. I don't know if I missed it, but is there a requirement? I know you said from an insurance perspective, they'll have to hold insurance, but is there a kind of physical security requirement to operate a DigiSafe? And then also, flip side of that, is there any sort of kind of economic incentive to kind of become a DigiSafe, similar to being like a staker or delegator within a protocol? Like, will there be some sort of tokenomics built in within that model?
Yes, absolutely. So for DigiSafes, the requirements are insurance is the primary requirement, and then they have to fill out a questionnaire. It's on our website, I think, on Become a Seller, where we ask them a couple of questions. Then our KYC team usually talks to them, interviews them a little bit to figure out what's going on, what's the setup looks like, and then based on that, it's like a holistic approach of approval. So it really has to make sense. Now, as far as the advantage of being a DigiSafe, the economics are very simple. 10% of every sale of the item or resale that while it sits at the DigiSafe, the DigiSafe receives that payment. So part of the transaction fee, which is 10% of buy and sell on Digible, 10% goes to, half of it first goes to the community for stakers, and then from that half, 10% goes to the DigiSafe.
Is there like a check-in process? Like a scenario that I'm thinking of is like, hey, someone says they have insurance, they purchase the insurance, show it to you, but then like the next day they cancel that insurance. How are you guys making sure that they're upholding the insurance or continuing to pay for the policy?
This is done usually on an annual basis. We currently approved 3 DigiSafes, and the 3 DigiSafes we approved are, we know these people very, very well. For example, one of them is Steve Aoki's own safe. So from that perspective, we always keep tabs on what's happening. As we get more and more DigiSafes registered on board, We have a yearly kind of review process of inventory and other items that we deal with dealers. So with that, that's going to be the part of the checking it out.
Got it. And like, I have the same question around like cards, right? Like, I ship a card to a safe. How do I know that like my card is actually in that safe, right? Because I've been part of the trading card game, and people, there's definitely some shady players in that space. So that would be like my biggest concern. Hey, I'm shipping this $100,000 card to the safe. How do I know it's like actually there and someone hasn't just gone and sold it?
Good question. The answer is, well, what we're trying to do is make everything as transparent as possible. In case of expensive cards that you're selling first, what you can do is you just apply to be an authorized seller. That way you're keeping the card on hand, and once it sells, then you ship it. And then the user can decide whether they want to get their card mailed to them or to a DigiSafe. But that creates an opposite risk for the buyer, because now he needs to trust not the DigiSafe, but an authorized seller, or for example, not an authorized seller, or even just somebody who just minted it, right, like eBay. So this trust issue, we're trying to solve through the decentralized DigiSafes that are keeping them, storing them, and forcing them to have insurance, and not have a single point of failure such as us. So that's the trade-off that we're facing.
Got it. And like, if you think about like eBay, right? Like when you're on eBay, they have like the rating system for different sellers. Are you guys thinking about incorporating some sort of rating system or some sort of social score?
Yes, not only that is we're trying to foster, a community that can, communicate with them about cards directly in Discord and Telegram. So it's not only, arms away as eBay does it. For example, for eBay, you can't directly contact the seller or the buyer directly. You always have to use eBay because they make sure to take the 10% or whatever. On our end, we do the opposite. So we'd like for everybody to come in. I think part of our GUI development plan, new releases, is going to have a chat function within the actual conversation. That way we also can link kind of the history of every single card, where it comes from. That's the beauty of blockchain, of tracking it. And on our end, even if, for example, buyer and seller agree to transfer NFT or the card itself outside of Digible's payment platform, that's fine. We don't have to capture every single revenue that exists out there. So from that perspective, there is not only a score that we'll be putting up in general, but a more informative marketplace where people know where things are coming from.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. I noticed one of your other projects was Digi Grade. Could you talk to us about that?
Yes, Digi Grading is about taking the card, authenticating it, and then grading it. So we have two different options. Option number one is we'll be offering kind of a buffet list of grading services such as PSA, Beckett, CGC, etc., where using kind of our volume to get these things graded faster and also minted onto the blockchain, authenticated, etc. What we've released already is our internal grading service, only for Pokemon. We have a resident master grader that's very, very good. On the Pokemon side, our charges are very, very low relative to the PSA, for example. This is just to get the card minted and put on the blockchain. For now, it's been in closed kind of friends and family / beta test mode. So we're processing over 1,000 cards at the moment for grading, and those will be graded by us. They'll be placed in special kind of laminated protective pouches, labeled. They'll look pretty cool. I think one of the graded cards is going to be dropped in our upcoming drop. There's been, I think, tweeted or pictures of what it looks like. It's pretty cool, very inexpensive, and ability to kind of get the card authenticated and onto the blockchain versus an unauthenticated card.
Unfed, I saw you had your hand up, and then I'm gonna jump in right behind you.
No, honestly, go for it.
So I just had like a quick question off the top of my head. So, and this is not an accusatory way. This is just, to get some basic information. So what assurances do people have that customers' card won't get replaced with a fake one shipping back? Like, I know you had mentioned the pouches, but let's say they shipped in a Charizard, right? And that's obviously a sought after card. Well, who's not to say, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not accusing, who's not to say that you guys wouldn't replace it and then send back like a replica of that Charizard and keep the other one?
There's nothing built in, and I don't know even how to protect it. It's just based on trust, I guess. But I'll tell you that as soon as one person gets a fake card back, that's going to destroy the reputation. The reputation of this whole thing is what it's all about. So that's all I got for you.
Yeah, no worries. And like I said, that wasn't supposed to be like an accusatory question at all. I was just
No, of
asking
course.
the
Yeah,
question.
but that's part of Yep.
Also, to add to that quickly, at the end of the day, if someone does lose the real version of the card, then I guess there's a two-way insurance policy that might also cover it, and if the user is also insured on that front. But yeah, that's just to add to that. But it is something that we're looking into, seeing how we can verify that in the future.
Well, that's actually correct because we were looking at a different situation, not the grading one. I mean, you just raised something we haven't thought of. What we thought of before is what happens if a decentralized safe that's holding the card, sends a fake card, right, to ships it. So that's outside of our control. And the more safes we have, obviously the risk increases for bad actors. So in that case, that what we thought through is having the insurance, and the insurance has to cover it's a lost card. It's the wrong thing. So that part is covered. I guess for grading, it's the same thing. We ourselves are insured, so the insurance would theoretically apply to us doing the same thing as well, I'm guessing.
And at the same time as well, we've got legal documents or legal agreements with these DigiSafes, right? So if anything were to happen, they'd be essentially removing their ability to sell on the platform, and it could involve them being in legal trouble at the same time. So I guess that's not to say that, if someone really wants to make a quick 50,000 on a really rare Charizard, but at the same time, it could involve legal implications if they want to do that.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's what I was just asking. And kind of like a second part to that question is, why wouldn't customers just ship it off to PSA themselves? Is there like a few steps because like I said,
Yeah.
I've never shipped cards, I've never dealt with
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll answer that question. So right now, if you want to ship a card to PSA, first of all, it costs $150 per card to grade. And it could take up to 12 to 18 months if you're sending a batch of cards. You can pay for express grading at this point in time. It'll cost you more money. And that's only for one card at a time. So if you're trying to do like a larger collection, it's going to take, it could take up to a couple of years to get all those cards graded. And I know people, I've personally sent cards myself that have been in backlog. It's been almost a year now. I still haven't received my cards. And I know a lot of other people who are dealing with the same thing. I see Chase just put the laughing emoji. But yeah, so it's a serious, problem with the card market. And there's a lot of friction that we think, bringing this to blockchain is going to change. And at the same time, people who want to invest in cards, let's say you got people like Logan Paul and you got people like other card enthusiasts, let's say, that are pushing cards that want to invest in this space, but they're scared to buy a card on eBay because they're not sure if the seller is legit. Whereas they can just buy a physically backed version and store crypto cards essentially on their wallet without having to worry about shipping them or storing them. And it's a safer way to, let's say, invest in trading cards without having to deal with the friction and whatnot. So if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm just blown away by the backlog to get a PSA grade on your cards. It's just it's insane that's a year. I'm actually curious about your guys' Digi Farm. I see on the website that you guys are going to offer staking. Looks like you guys are on Matic for that. Can you guys kind of dig into that and talk about your USDT farm that I think you guys are going to have?
Well, we're not going to have a Usdt Farm. We had a little bit of farming earlier on, We're purely staking currently. Right now, it's an 8% APY on daily compounding on Matic. We're releasing very soon new staking options with a little bit higher interest rate, also half of the platform revenues, but on both Matic and Ethereum, and those will have a lockup. So for the little higher guaranteed interest rate, we'll have a higher lockup periods, and that will come out probably early next year.
Are there any plans to explore other protocols like Avalanche or Phantom, anything like that?
Yes, absolutely. So right now we're fully cross chain. So we're on Ethereum, we're on Matic, we're on Phantom already. We did a drop of one of our keys on Halloween onto the Phantom network. We're connected to them. We're also connected to Binance Smart Chain. We'll have things being dropped on there as well. The Kronos chain is also coming very, very shortly. And we've also partnered with another project called Scotty Beam. They're they're an NFT solution to bridge one NFT to another chain, like teleport, beam me up, Scotty, kind of a thing. So we're going to be adding additional chains like Solano as well. They require a little bit more programming effort on the development side because they don't use the same language as Ethereum, but they're very close. And for sure, we're collectors, so we are also collecting blockchains.
And there's BSC as well. Just to quickly add, Binance Smart Chain is another one we're looking at.
Nice. And so, what would be the benefits of like a user buying Digi and staking it? Can you guys kind of just like touch on like the general overall tokenomics, how the token will be kind of used within the ecosystem, and why someone would kind of benefit for buying it and then staking it?
I'll take that one. Yeah. So let's start before we get to the staking piece of it, just the utility of the token itself. The token itself is used, within the metaverse to do all kinds of things. Primarily on the marketplace, you have to hold 3,000 Digi on each network, each blockchain that you're going to be minting or selling on. So if you want to mint on Ethereum and pay Ethereum gas prices for minting, that's usually for higher valued cards. Then you have to have 3,000 ERC20 Digis. If you want to start minting and selling on the Matic network with, very, very, very almost zero fees, then you can do that on Matic, but then you have to hold 3,000 Digis on the Matic to do that. For Digi Grading, that we're charging on our own end, not the ones that we're sending it to PSA or CGC, but we're doing it in-house. That's only available through Digi tokens. 10% of those tokens get burned. As we release additional components into the more of a gaming part of it, Digi is going to be used a lot there. Digi Wax product, so that if you're a breaker, for example, and you'd like to now break things on the blockchain, so people are no longer have to trust you of being fair in terms of shuffling the cards. Anyone can come in and use the Digi Wax platform protocol. That also require Digi to be used. And for the stakers, as I said before, the platform revenue, 50% of it goes into the stake and rewards pool, and that gets distributed to the stakers accordingly. So the better the platform does, the more rewards stakers get. And we're initially, guaranteeing a minimum payout back in Digi. So for this to be a sustainable business, there has to be volume, because we can't be just a farm that keeps paying percentage and just hoping that more people keep coming in. That's not kind of what we're doing. So as a staker, the economics are guaranteed interest rate plus percentage of the revenue of the platform.
Gotcha. Okay. And are there any plans to like maybe subsidize artists for collections in the future? Like I remember we've had some guests on the base space that have kind of created their own NFT collections, but don't necessarily like have a home platform per se. Is there anything kind of like in the roadmap to pursue something of that nature?
Absolutely, and we're working kind of on, behind the scenes. There's a lot of different directions and angles as we're expanding. So, for example, there's, besides trading cards, there's all the other types of collectible components. So we have dealers of uh, comic books and other things, rare books, statues, even paintings, and then we also have digital artists that also want to come out. So, as we're launching everything, we will be coordinating kind of our efforts in terms of how do we bring things on. We obviously, big fans of cool things. So when there are really talented artists, we'd be happy to put them on a platform, use whatever we can to help promote their art and their pieces. And as long as they have a collectible element to it, then we're very, very happy about it.
Gotcha. And just so I'm understanding it correctly, like let's say, I have some sort of like rare collectible. Let's just say like it's like a watch of some sort, right? Um, I would have to hold. Let's just say I have like a suite of kind of rare collectibles, right? I like collecting rare items, and if I want to digitalize those and create those as NFT forms, I would need 3,000 Digi tokens to kind of be in that position to be kind of like the mentor meme, I guess, if you will, for Digible. Am I following that correctly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No. Go for it, Serge.
Yeah, what you can do is this. If you're, let's say, a traditional guy, not Web3, but you do have the collectibles and you want to list them on, you can use the Web2 component, kind of upload the pictures, do everything, but not physically actually mint the thing. And then when the buyer comes in, they get to choose whether they want to get it shipped already, just very, very old-fashioned way, or they'll become the minter and then sell it on the blockchain piece of it. So to get onto the chain, you need to have 3,000 Digi. If you want to stay in Web 2, you don't.
I just want to capitalize on that real quick, and then I'm gonna actually unfortunately go. But I appreciate everything you guys have done for us. This has been awesome. But real quick, so our website, we're actually going through a good upgrade, and which Serge just touched on is a Web 2.0 component. And what that's going to do is that's going to try and bring more of a Facebook, Instagram feel, so somebody could log in via email and password, not necessarily have to have a MetaMask wallet. Our thought process is to integrate them into our platform as a user, and then eventually get them onto our blockchain and learn the actual space of crypto. So that's kind of where our site vision is going at this moment in time, and that upgrade should be coming within the beginning of the year. Again, thank you very much. Hope to hear from you guys soon.
Yeah, thanks for
coming on, Dan.
Take care.
Peace out, Dan. Actually, to add on what Dan was saying, if you as you know, like on OpenSea, people can connect their credit card and buy any NFT they want using KYC and regular like standard forms of payment. And the goal is to make Digible no different from that, allowing someone to come on, buy digital physically backed Pokemon cards, attaching it to an email if they want to. The more legit we can make this, right? And as you know, like there's a huge card community. And not everyone is necessarily super integrated with crypto and understands the space. And so until crypto becomes a really worldwide thing where everyone knows what it is, then it'll be our way of getting people from that community without having to necessarily be a crypto fanatic or a crypto user in that sense. So it's a way of grabbing new users, and we think it's gonna be a good synergy.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love the ability to like introduce people to crypto, and I think that definitely widens the audience. And like you said, like the collector space is huge, and I know that there's like a lot of older folks in the space that might not be the most tech savvy when it comes to the crypto, and they might not even know anything about like what an NFT is. So this could be like a really cool way to just like start introducing them to crypto, start introducing them to like the concept of NFTs and make them familiar with that. So that's awesome, man. I applaud you guys for doing that.
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks, man.
So, like if you sell something on the platform, I know we had talked about sort of the tokenomics and when Digi is needed, but are you paid out in the Digi token, or are you receiving some sort of USDC or stablecoin, something like that?
You actually select whichever token you'd like to list it on. That's how the contract is written, but primarily the sales are in either USDT or USDC. Unstable, but they can be in Ether, they can be in our own token. So, for example, some things that we'll be doing promotionally they'll be only designated as a Digi token, for example. But it supports everything, but most folks like the dollar, the crypto dollar.
And also, like some people, if since we're selling collectibles, some people will be weary about asking for Ethereum, right? Obviously, it depends, but if someone's like wants their card to stay the same value, then they're going to list it in USDT, for example. Whereas other things, it could be just Ethereum, right? If they want to keep it in Ethereum, but yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Yeah, we also saw on your site that you guys have this feature called Digi Duel. Are you able to kind of touch on like what that is?
Yeah, I could take Serge. You can go for it. You can start, and I'll add to it.
No, go. I'll add later.
Sure. Yeah. So Digi Duel. So actually, that's being renamed to Digi Games really soon. And essentially, we're going to be creating a variety of different play-to-earn games that will utilize physically backed trading cards, and basically allowing you to use what you have, either cards that are stored in the DigiSafe or even digitally backed or physically backed cards, and allow you to basically use those and use your Digi and gain from that, right? And another thing is that when these cards are stored and physically backed and represented with NFTs, even third-party game developers can come on top and build games for physically backed items. So if there's different card games, right, that a different developer wants to build, then they could utilize the technology that we're building and the securitization of it, and build games on top of it. So there's many P2E or play to earn opportunities that will come down the line, and for third party developers to come in and build on top of our physically backed items.
And I know you mentioned Chainlink VRF earlier. Is this where you're going to integrate Chainlink VRF as well? Just so say someone puts up their NFT, another person puts up their NFT, almost like a coin flip. Is it a pure 50-50?
For that duel, yes, that would be a 50-50 duel. The way it would actually work is you put up two cards, kind of an energy card with a real card. Same thing to the other person, and then the winner gets the real, the loser, so to say, gets the digital energy. And mechanics of this we can't discuss yet. It's kind of still under, development and release on our end. But for everything that requires kind of dice rolling, and a lot of these games, a lot of the collectibles are based off of games, right? Pokemon is a game. Magic the Gathering is a game. There's things you can do with it. So for any dice rolls, any random functions, Chainlink is our default preferred provider for randomization.
Absolutely. And that's to say, like, for example, if someone has their own card game that they're launching themselves, and they want to make it digital, right? You can literally do a Pokemon duel or do a Yu-Gi-Oh duel or other third party kind of dueling systems, and utilize the cards that you have in your own wallet and do something with them, right? So allowing people to, I guess, duel with their physical cards from across the world. I guess that's really the vision that we're trying to push forward.
Super, did you have any other question around that?
Yeah.
That duel feature?
Yeah, so I see that there's like a 1% fee from all the duels, and it says 0.7% goes towards the staking pool and 0.3% is burn. Is there going to be a hard cap on the amount of Digi made? Because if
Yes.
so, that could be pretty beneficial with the burn function over time.
Yes, it's a fixed supply of 100 million, and that's it. So the thinking is, as we grow, then the burn is going to really help out, not only on the dual side, but also on the grading side. That's another place where we burn. And the seller requirements will become progressively more expensive to be a verified seller on the platform, because the Digi token will still probably remain the same for the 3,000 that we talked about before. So from that perspective, it's kind of like a taxi medallion that goes up in value because more, it goes up in value and there's a limited supply of them.
Sweet. Mieter, did you want to talk about the next section?
Yeah. Definitely want to talk to you guys about like a lot of the future development that you have cooking in the books. One of the things that we know is on your roadmap is Steve Aoki and his partnership. Could you guys talk to us about like what you're doing with Steve?
For sure. So Steve is a part owner of Digible, and he, besides being, a musical performer, he's also a big-time collector of things, including sports cards and Pokemon cards. He has a pretty large collection, and he's very involved in the card space. So, out of his kind of personal and his company it's called Aoki's Card House. So his organizational inventory that's going into different drops and auctions onto Digible as well. So that way, for high-profile items from his collections, they'll be featured on Digible. There'll be events and auctions around the drops and things like that.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's probably going to be a huge way to get some publicity out of it and build brand awareness. So that's super exciting, man. Like, congrats on the partnership.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, that's dope. Because I remember when Steve got his punk, and that blew up as well. Like spaces where everyone was talking about it. So yeah, that could definitely be a huge catalyst for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I know you also mentioned like the DAO, and I was just kind of curious around like how you, like, even if you don't have the plans fleshed out, like what are you guys thinking about the DAO? Like, do you have any ideas and concepts around like how that will work within Digible?
Well, that will have more to do with the direction of usability in the metaverse itself. So it'll also govern kind of the policies and the questions that were raised before, such as insurance and making sure everything runs smoothly. Perhaps we have to find different physical operators to do certain physical things because this project is not pure crypto. It has a very, very serious real world component to it. But then it's also about kind of what the experience is going to look like for collectors. It should be community driven. What kind of games should be played? How collecting would work as far as sets. I would like to collect that kind of a set, this kind of a set, different achievements for collecting certain things as well. And this being a fun enterprise, it pretty much needs to have consensus from the collectors community saying, hey, this is cool, we'd like to do that. So that's the plan. Plus it's the blockchain is also about not monopolizing anything. It's total opposite, democratizing things. So from perspective of financial operations, and the more the Digible universe kind of expands, the more different revenue streams it will start finding, and the DAO should be the one starting to decide what percentage of what should go where versus kind of our own educated guesses at best.
Yeah, very, very, very cool. And I'm assuming like for the DAO, like you'll have to be like a token holder, or how, like, do you guys have any concepts around how people will actually be able to vote?
Yes, there will be, and this is kind of very, very preliminary. Things are very, very subject to change, but the thinking is there's going to be a separate DAO token that will handle the governance. The initial token holders will get airdropped, some prorated amount of the DAO token, and I think those at stake would get more. But all of that is still very, very undecided at this point.
Yeah, it's cool. I like the concept of doing like an airdrop for it. I think that could be a really good way to distribute the token. I know you guys had also touched on like the whole Digi games and the play to earn features. I was kind of curious, like, are you guys planning to release your own games as well, or are you just kind of sticking with being, I guess, like the platform that the games are, built on?
Absolutely. Serge, you can add to this after, but I just want to chime in quickly. Obviously, we're going to be launching our own games, and allowing for other third-party game developers to come in and make their own games as well and connect with, I guess, the Digi protocol. And then as time moves on, of course, we plan on doing more and more games with the stuff that we can do. And yeah, Serge, you can add.
No, you got it. But yes, we have our own plans for games as well.
Yeah, it's dope. I love that.
To add quickly to that as well, might as well capitalize. Obviously, there's the different metaverses that are blowing up right now, like Decentraland and Sandbox and a few others as well. There's going to be an opportunity to have games that are built inside different metaverses, right? So imagine you can go into, let's say, Decentraland, or you can go into a virtual card shop on the Sandbox or something like that, and be able to duel against other people, or go into an open space with other people and duel, or use your cards. So you'll be able to use your physical items in a digital world, and I think it's another powerful thing. Allowing people to use their physically backed Pokemon cards, for example, and duel with someone in the metaverse. That's another powerful component, and we're obviously looking at different metaverses that are exploding right now, and we think that's a very possible future for where this space is going.
Yeah, that's sick. I could definitely see, like, I'm in a metaverse. I'm touring through like a card shop or something along those lines, and it's linked with Digible. Maybe you guys have some sort of, like, I don't know, 3D logo that shows that it's linked, or you guys have like a verified list on your website, something like that. But
There you go.
yeah, just being able to like browse in the metaverse, right? And being able to interact with the protocol, like that's a pretty cool concept.
Indeed.
Chase, I saw you on mute.
No worries. I'm having a little connections issues. So just go ahead.
No worries. Just want to make sure you were heard if you had something. Yeah, I also saw that you guys are planning to launch like a mobile app. I was wondering if you could like touch on like what your plans are for the mobile app. Obviously, if it's nothing official, that's totally fine.
So that would be obviously nothing official. It's coming later on, but from what we have right now, it'd be no different from what you can access already on your mobile phone, right? Going on the website, and this would be, as we add more utility on the gaming side of things, and when Web 2.0 comes in as well, when we're bringing in users that aren't necessarily crypto users, and a lot of people talk about, we'll know when blockchain takes over when we see like Karens using blockchain without them knowing they're using blockchain. And so when there's a lot of, when there's a lot of users that will be coming in from the Web 2 side, it'll only make sense for us to have a mobile app so that people can access things quicker and easier and whatnot. So it shouldn't be, already our website is very mobile friendly. And if you go on it right now on your mobile device, you'll see like, it's pretty well optimized. And so the app should be no different. And obviously there might be some custom features on there when it comes out, but that's what we have in mind right now.
Yeah, that'd be dope. I guess, like, are there any like up and coming like partnerships that you guys want to highlight? I don't know if there's anything, any partnerships that you guys have in the works. And
we usually don't announce, like a pretty much a company policy of not announcing any partnerships until they're set in stone and everybody's on board. The current one is a Chainlink one. It's not a partnership, it's integration. We're very excited about that, and I mentioned earlier Scotty Beam. So we'll do some more announcements around Scotty Beam for being able to teleport NFTs from one chain to another.
And obviously there's the elephant in the room, right? Steve Aoki has been mentioned. There's, we can't speak on what exactly we're doing and when we're doing it, but there will be involvement as well and partnerships on that front. And we plan to work with other celebrity card enthusiasts and doing exclusive drops with them as well in the future. Obviously, we'll announce that when things are solidified.
yeah, it's dope. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I love Steve's music before he got into all the NFT stuff.
I'm curious, more of like a kind of like strategy question for you guys. Like, what do you guys think some of the biggest challenges are and kind of like entering and breaking into the space? Because it's kind of like this like weird thing of where you guys are almost kind of competing with Web 2, but you're also kind of competing in the Web 3 world. Just curious, like if you guys have like any like top challenges that you think are pretty important to overcome.
Well, that's right. It's bridging the real world with the crypto world, and that's what we also set out to do. So, for a lot of people, everything is very, very new. Most folks don't understand what NFTs are. They think it's just images, and not the kind of the full breadth of the technology that you can do things with. It's the challenge is also in terms of authentication, physical, getting things from one place to another. So we're trying to maximize on that, how to simplify all these processes. But it's also noise. So NFTs are making a lot of noise in general. The market is noisy, is getting our word out about who we are, what we do, and why we're different. That's kind of a big challenge as well.
Yeah. Last question from me is where do you guys see like Digible, I guess, in like the next like 2 to 3 years? Like, do you guys see yourselves as like the premier um bridge between NFTs and like the physical cards, or what's kind of your longer term vision for the brand and the protocol itself?
Yeah, so this is the premier place for collectibles. So people that like collectibles of all kinds, that's where they go. That's where they go to look for prices. That's where they'll go to look for different people's collections. So, for example, if you want to check out Aoki's collection, you can click on his collection of physical stuff. You can click on another person, a dealer, for example, as well. Ability to kind of discuss things with others, as mentioned before. More importantly, collectible functionality. So you can have your own sets that you're collecting. I've collected every single Pikachu in existence, for example. So those kinds of things, and being able to go on there, look at other people's sets, trade NFTs with each other. So one big thing we haven't really talked about is the NFT exchange component that's going to be built in, where you can exchange one NFT with another, and you can add USDT to it as well, like through an offering system. So it'll be the place mainly for people around the world to come in and be fully involved in the collectibles market. And from the trading perspective and the marketplace perspective, it's going to look like as a premier stock market, except instead of stocks, it'll be cards. And maybe you don't have to buy one Michael Jordan card. Maybe instead you'll buy 10,000, Pikachus. So because there's a lot of lower value cards, and automatic gas fees are so inexpensive, you'll be able to start trading in very low value but still valued things, right? So that will be the main place. Furthermore, all will be on the blockchain. So if people later on want to come in and see kind of the history of an item, whether it's authentic or not, if it's been traded in the blockchain, they'll look at Digible.
And to add to that as well, there's a lot of people that are going to want to showcase their collection. And for example, today, let's say, there's some kid at school, or there's someone that in real life, and they're telling you about their collection, but they have no way of showing it to you, because obviously who wants to carry around $100,000 worth of Pokemon cards? So our future vision for Digible as well is a premier place to just a hold your collection, and be able to showcase it, right? We want to add this social aspect to the platform where someone can show their collection without having to carry it around with them, and that adds value, because some people will lie about their collection, right? Some people will, there's a lot of trust as well that comes into saying, oh, look, I've got this card in my collection, I've got that card, I've dealt with that card. So since it's fully transparent on the blockchain, there won't be a way of telling someone you own a card, or you own a cool collectible, and lie about it, because it's simply not possible. So that's the beauty of it, right? Being able to prove that you own these items is a big deal as well. And so we think that the social aspect is gonna really take over, and that's really the main goal at the end of the day, is getting people involved and bringing people together in the collectible world, and making servicing all their different needs. There you go.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. I think the collaboration with Steve is huge. I think the merger that you guys are talking about between like Web 2 and Web 3 is going to be really big. And like I said early in the call, like, we know that a lot of older people are heavily into like sports card collecting, and you guys could be like that anchor, that bridge, right? That, even just gets them acquainted with crypto or shows them that there is value in NFTs and just like where the world is moving. So I think that this is super awesome. We do like to open up at the end to have like audience members ask questions. Are you guys cool with that?
Yeah, I'm definitely
Sure.
I'll be sticking around.
Hey, if
Well,
anyone in the audience wants to ask, just hit that request button.
Yeah, while we're waiting for somebody to come up, I actually have a question. I can definitely see, and you're already seeing it now. Like if you've used Oculus, you have your like home that you come into, your virtual home, where you can
Yep.
have like objects displaying. And I could see Digible. I could see, these physical collectibles, but you're gonna have digital representation ownership. Do you guys have any thoughts of like partnerships or maybe even a potential in-house service of kind of coding and modeling these 3D representations of these physical collectibles to where, once the metaverse is really built out and people are having social gatherings and these like immersive VR experiences, you can have that kind of, real world physical item digitalized in your home in the metaverse, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If you take a look actually at our website, in part of the things already minted, there'll be some spinning slabs that we've created. So we do have a pretty good, team that does visual effects that make it look very cool and metaverse friendly. So that's already live on the site.
Also, I'm sure a lot of you have seen like Meta, well, Facebook, aka Meta's last conference where Mark Zuckerberg was, talking about the new world we're in. And at some point in the show, you saw something where they said NFTs and collectibles, and it was kind of like spinning, right? And you saw different people gathering around. It was like an after party or something. So it's kind of the same concept, right? We are talking to some metaverses now that we can't necessarily talk about, but the goal, of course, is once the like 3D version is created, it can be put on any metaverse, right? That's pretty much the goal. Since it's an NFT, that file can be moved to if it's on Meta's or one of Meta's different metaverses, if it's on Mana, if it's on XYZ. That's the goal, of course. Being the collector's metaverse and being able to store these digital collectibles and represent them in the digital world is really what our long-term vision is, and what we see ourselves being that back-end infrastructure for the future of collectibles and trading cards specifically.
Yeah, that's super interesting, and I think there's going to be a future, and I think you really probably you're already seeing it now. Maybe I'm just like a little late and I haven't been being involved into it yet, but not even from like a VR perspective, but even from like an augmented reality perspective. I think like paintings that we had or have, on our walls now will over the next several decades become a thing of the past, and your ownership items will be software, and it will be like a pinned canvas that is software that runs through your augmented reality glasses. And so maybe that, PSA 10 Charizard that you have is actually digitalized, through you guys, like as an NFT collection, and it's like framed on your wall, and it's like augmented reality. And then you could also, of course, scale that out into like the virtual realities to where maybe you're having like a virtual reality event and you're hosting people at your house in the metaverse, and you can have that kind of like pinned on the wall. It's just like really a interesting future.
Totally, yeah. And then like someone being able to come, like you said, you mentioned Oculus before. Someone being able to come to your Oculus room, for example, and in the corner you got like a stash of Pokemon cards, right? And it's like people can come and touch them and see them, and right, obviously you have the rights over them, so they can't steal them from you. But being able to physically represent them in a safe and secure manner on the blockchain, and obviously fully secure, like I said again. I think that's very, very powerful, and like you said, that's where the world's going. A lot of people see that, and it's really going to be interesting to see how this all pans out.
Yeah, I am a firm believer that software is eating the world. I mean, that's it's not I'm not really being anything special proclaiming that, but I think like that term goes much, much further than what we really realize from now, right? And so we were talking about this earlier this week on Other Space, but like I think even your TV that you have in your house will one day software code will eat that physical TV to where you may have a TV projected through your AR glasses on your wall in your home, but you'll actually not own a physical TV.
That's actually way closer in reality than you think. We've had some interesting conversations in New York with another company that's doing a build out across from Penn Station for like a sports themed complex of 3 floors, and they're envisioning an AR movie theater for concerts and sporting events where you can be at home in your VR set and have, for example, a pay-per-view match view in that room physically. So that's already coming like now. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. You know, you're going from this Web 2 world where you took part by experiencing the internet by looking at a screen, versus we're moving to this, you know, Web 3 world where these experiences are going to be immersive and you're going to be kind of like there as much as you can be there without physically being present. You know, it's almost like through your senses and, you know, almost kind of like consciousness, I guess, if you will. It will be like physically present, and it'll just be like this fully immersive experience. I'm excited to see like what all directions that takes.
For sure, it's a wild future. It's a very wild future.
We're all here for the ride. It's going to be exciting.
Indeed.
Last call, guys. I'll give you a few more seconds if you want to request and speak. Otherwise, I'm gonna call it here.
I guess I'll take, if no one's gonna join, I'll take some time to add a few things. Another thing being, like, for example, we want to be like the digital, not the digital, we want to be the card infrastructure for Web 3.0. And doing that is leveraging this kind of technology. And people will think, you know, that they have to stick to our platform, for example, to trade cards, but that's not the case, right? Once we create an NFT that has a legal representation of a physically backed item, that NFT can then go ahead and be sold anywhere on any NFT marketplace, right? We're not limiting people to sticking to our platform, and that's really the beauty of it, right? So people might even be trading diggable backed cards or secured or DigiSafe cards without even knowing that they're doing so. And another thing to add is, you know, obviously the hype with NFTs right now is all JPEGs and crazy things and things that obviously might have utility, but the majority of the NFT space right now is, you know, things that aren't really going anywhere, right? You got maybe 0.5% of the market or 1% of the market that actually has value. And so to add to that, we think, and a big vision that I have personally is that the NFT space is going to be consumed. I think 25% of the NFT space, or even 40% of the NFT space, is going to be consumed by physically backed items in the next, you know, 5 years, and even maybe less than that. Just because, you know, I think getting people into this NFT space was part of the hype that we saw in the last year, and that's been through hype and JPEGs and other things. And the next step, in my opinion, is going to be how can we use NFTs with the real world, right? So how's the real world going to consume the NFT space? And we think a large part of that, of course, is going to be collectibles. So that's part of why we decided to go all in on this vision and hop on this. So just wanted to add that. Get your mind rolling on the vision.
Let's go. Yeah, this is dope. This is definitely a project that I'm going to be like looking at, staying up to date. I think you guys are doing a lot of interesting elements that we haven't really seen from other NFT projects that we've brought on the space. So love everything that you guys are doing. Chase, Super, you guys have any other like closing thoughts?
Yeah, just wanted to thank you guys for coming on. Unfed, we've been following each other for a minute, I feel like. And it's super exciting seeing you build something in the space, man. So congratulations on that. And I personally am here to support it. I'm sure the team is as well. and we'll definitely have to have you on down the line as well.
Cheers, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, I saw that we've been following each other for some time, and I've been following Crypto Mewtwo for some time as well. And so it just felt really the right kind of thing to do and reach out. And also the fact that, you guys got a lot of Link Marines following you guys. And so we're using Link, and we thought there would be some good synergy on that front. And of course, if anyone in the audience has any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm always here to answer anything you guys may have. And yeah, thanks for having us. Really, it's been great.
Thanks, guys.
Of course. And right before Chase, everyone in the audience, if you haven't filled out that form above, go ahead and fill that out to get their DigiCube, their NFT. Just go ahead and fill that out.
Yeah, and make sure you have the Matic network added to your wallet. And of course, if you don't see the NFT within a couple of days, what you should do is go on Polyscan, right? Put in your address, and then you should be able to see the transaction, right? Because on MetaMask or whatever wallet you use, you don't necessarily always see the NFT, so you might have to manually import it. So you just got to import the ID of the NFT and the contract code. So that's for the people who aren't necessarily familiar with that.
I think we actually have a straggler who wants to ask a question. Hold on a sec.
Awesome.
Little Mo. What up, Little Mo?
What up, Mo?
What's up, Mo? Little Mo.
He was flagging us down. That's why I'm with the emojis and everything.
Yo, Mo, your mic is muted.
Mo, if your mute space is in the bottom left of your phone, that'll be like the microphone. You could unmute. I don't think I can unmute him manually.
Oh, can you hear me?
No.
Yeah, there we go. Now we got you.
I have no idea. I don't know how to use this. This is my first time. But how you guys doing?
Doing well, brother.
All right.
Good.
So I was wondering, when will there be like hard marketing, like getting involved with influencers, like bigger, like card collectors and all? That was like kind of main question.
Yeah, good question. Like we said before, we won't announce like big partnerships and promotions that we'll be doing ahead of time. It doesn't really make sense, right? We'll do it when the time is right. Obviously, right now, there's not a huge amount of card volume on our platform. And so it would be weird to invest a crazy amount of money in marketing when we don't have, thousands and thousands of physically backed trading cards to purchase on the platform. So rest assured, we got the marketing team for it. We've got the connections for it. And when the time's right, when there's a good amount of card volume, and when the time feels right, we're definitely going to inject what we feel is right and necessary into marketing. And already we've done so, right? We've got a really cool partner on board, Steve Aoki, and that's going to be really good credibility for us when we want to go and reach out to other large card enthusiasts and famous card enthusiasts and influencers and whatnot. And so we definitely have the plan, and I guess just stay tuned is really all I can say for now.
For sure, man. Sounds good. Hopefully this gets really successful, for all of us.
Let's go. Thanks for coming on, Mo.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, guys, we'll close it out here. I don't see any other requests.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Hope I could come on here another time, maybe one day. And really appreciate you guys being welcoming and having us on here.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thanks for coming on.
Stay based.
Stay based, everybody.
Guys. Peace
Take care.
out.
Peace.